Welcome back to RGO Photo. I'm Chris. Today we're going to do the full frame $400 setup. This is where things really start to get interesting. We've got a lot of choices and options here. We have the 5D Mark II with the 28 to 135 IS USM lens. That lens I've done a review on previously, and I'll put that down in the description down below because it's a very good lens. Very, very good lens. To me, it's worth at least twice what it's going for based on my experience. And I have two of those lenses. And maybe the key with those two lenses are they're both made in Japan. So maybe that's why they're so good. But those are also pretty old lenses. I think they're 1998. And anywho, so 5D Mark II, 28 to 135. The 6D, Canon 6D with the OG lens, also have a review on that lens. We'll put that down in the description below. In the last video, that was attached to the 5D Mark II. So the OG cost me $66. The Canon 6D that I have with me costs $335 for $401. So $400 full frame setup, because I know you can find the 6D a little cheaper than $335, but the one I bought only had 19,000 on the shutter count, so darn near new as far as I'm concerned. Kind of a bargain deal there. So we got two cameras there, two different lenses, but also we have the Nikon. Yes, I said Nikon. I have a Nikon D600 with the 50mm 1.8. So that, the G 1.8 G AFS Nikkor. Now the Nikon lenses confuse the crap out of me because they've got all kinds of letters and junk that just don't make any sense to me. So I apologize for that. And I don't know if Nikon has an equivalent to that 28 to 80 USM as far as a really good lens for that price point, or really good lens overall at several price points. And that's because I don't know which one to get, because you got the AI, AIS, AF, AFSD, AFD, and I can't keep track. So anyway, we've got the kind of the newer, basic, normal nifty 50 on the D600. And we've got the D6 Canon 6D with the 50mm 1.8 STM nifty 50 here today. So I've got these three cameras out. I've got the 5D. Oh, and the other $400 setup is the Canon 5D Mark II with the 40mm 2.8. Is that STM? STM. So this lens I bought for $120. I got $195 in the camera, so that's $315. And then I had to buy a CF card and a CF card reader, so that's probably only about $350. So this is still an extremely cheap full frame option, sitting between $300 and $400. So I've got to go out here and get some shots with these, because I've just not taken these out with prime lenses at all. And so these primes have just been sitting in a bag. They're usually with me, I just don't switch the lenses. So that's on me. So we're going to go out and get some photos and get some examples here for the $400. And I guess this is going to be a slightly longer video because we've got a whole lot of options. So things are getting spicy with all these options now at $400. So I see these rental scooters everywhere, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody riding them. I just see them laying all around town. And there's bicycles that you can do the same thing. They're over there. We'll get a picture of those in a minute. So here's that shot with the 5D Mark II and the 40mm f2.8 lens at 2.8. And we're going to stay with the 5D Mark II and the 40mm. Show a couple example photos here. Here's the bikes I was talking about. Focus point is back here in the back. Shooting through the other two bikes. Then a little kind of a faux full body portrait here on the parking meters, and actually they're not in focus really, at least not very well. What I was doing with this one was I was trying to make sure I had the shadow fully in the frame as well, and not have my shadow down here in the frame. So now here with the 40mm, focus is on the rose right here, and just kind of nice blurry foreground going into a blurrier background. I've never used that 40mm lens till today, and I thought it performed pretty good. Now let's move on to the 5D Mark II with the 28 to 135 IS USM lens. So here's a shot of a Humpty Dumpty, kind of just a establishing shot of where we're at, a bit tighter. And again, that lens focuses really well. And then just kind of a shot down here, turned it black and white, just trying to see how the brickwork on the right hand and the far left hand side turned out. And that's again the 28 to 135 IS USM. It's a pseudo macro lens. It's not a true macro lens, but it has a little sort of macro function. So we got in pretty tight here on this guy. Again, the Humpty Dumpty. And focus on the hand, checking out how the blurred background went in the window. And it's so blurry that you can't see the monkey behind the camera. So I took a photo of the monkey behind the camera there. Different shot of the Humpty Dumpty looking the opposite way. A lot of nice colors popping there. And this was a shot I took a while back. Beautiful train cars. It was a very overcast day, as you can see in the clouds there, so we really didn't have any sun to make this pop. But I also liked taking this down into a 1x1. Again, a little bit different framing. Trying to get the tracks off to the right, but maybe I should have stepped to the right more and or opened it up a little bit. Checking the foreground and the background blur. Real nice. Focused here. So kind of transitions pretty nice. Like I said, real nice lens. 28 to 135 IS USM. So let's go now to the 6D with the 50mm 1.8. So here's the shot here. I put this on F8 for this. I focused here on this right hand post pillar monument, and then recomposed the center focus point to here to kind of frame it up centered. So Pikes Peak is miles back here, and it's clear enough, that 50mm lens, that you can read down here at the fountain, and this car is almost completely stopped in motion on the highway. Thought that was pretty neat. So a nice tight shot of a rose. This is a chain link fence right here with a black backing on it so you can't see through it. So that's just kind of why that looks kind of waffly. But I thought the background looked pretty nice here, and the focus on the rose. And this is my subject here, the J pipe. That's the focus, and you can see down here, these couple are in focus down here. So again, checking out the foreground to background blur, and the mountains in the way back out there. Now let's check out the 6D, the Canon 6D with the OG, the 28 28 USM. Here we got a black and white shot. This is the staircase that goes up to a bridge that goes across the train tracks over to the Olympic Center. So I'm standing on the America the Beautiful Park side. And this is another shot. This was shot similarly with the 5D shown in the last video, but I will show you that the data here, it is the 6D with the 28 to 80 USM. So again, I could have used a little more shutter speed, but nice focus here on the rocks. Not more shutter speed, less shutter speed, a longer exposure. A little further back on the same staircase as earlier, but in color. It's a real blue-gray scene because it's a real blue-gray in real life. Shot across the bridge. This is the top of the stairs over here, so facing the opposite direction now. The bridge goes up, and I got this pointing right to Pikes Peak up here because anytime you have Pikes Peak in the background, it has to be in your photo. It's just like city ordinance, I think. You have to have Pikes Peak in your photograph. Now here, to get this shot, I had to do this. And again, this is the 6D with the OG 28 to 80 USM. So I kind of like that shot. And here's another faux portrait. I think the background looks pretty good. The OG has a pretty nice background blur that it does. Nice focus. We're in focus. Nice. So moving on in the $400 full frame kit, now we're going to go to the Nikon. So here's those bicycles and the US Olympic and Paralympic Museum in the background. Focused on this guy. I thought that 50mm lens looks pretty darn good. I think it, especially the out of focus areas, I think the out of focus areas look a little better on this 50mm than the Canon STM. Again, this is that same, almost the same photo as I did with the other one. Again, kind of a weird focus spot, but we got chain link fence with the black stuff in it so you can't see through. I just thought it looks pretty nice. I thought the Canon did a real good job on this same picture as well. There's a nice little shot here. Pretty good focus all the way to the back. That is not close. That's like a half city block to the UBS sign back there. Yeah, again, I think the background blur on this 50mm lens looks great. Look at the colors up here in this flower bed. Nice focus on that bad boy. But I think the background, this is like a pergola awning over kind of a patio area. Real pretty. I think the foreground looks good. Got a nice blur to it that blends into the focus spot, and then background blur. So that is our $400 full frame kit. We've got 5 options here, I do believe. These 3 cameras with the 2 extra lenses here. Like I said, with the Nikon, I don't know what else would be in this $100-ish price range that would allow me to put this on this. So I only paid, I think, $268 for the Nikon 6D. $268. It has 119,000 shutter actuations, so it's been used pretty good, but sub $300, not by just a little bit. $268. So this lens cost me a little more than that. I don't think I have it written down properly of what I paid for it, but anywho, $400 setup. Man, I mean, you can't go wrong. And if you wanted to, you could go 5D Mark II with the 50 millimeter and the OG still be under $400. So you could go one camera, two lens, and this was, I think I got 198, one something, so three something, and the OG. I mean, you could have both these zooms. Probably wouldn't need both these zooms, but you could go this, you could go the OG in the 40, you could go the OG in the 50, which is where it's over here. You could go the 28 to 135 and the 50 and be still at just over $400. So that 5D Mark II, and I thought the images looked great on it. They look great. I mean, they just look fantastic. So definitely a bang for your buck right there. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. The next video is going to be the $500 full frame kit. So hope you stick around for that one. Thanks for watching.